Will be with you always.
Hey man, y'all sure y'all don't want to like burn one first, man?
Why did you call that name?
You hear about
The chicken! What is thy bidding, my master?
Nice guy.
Forever, forever, ever. Forever.
What up, man?
What it is?
Ooh. What it look like? What it is?
Looks like a Gotham Knight to me,
Doesn't it, though?
doesn't it? Though,
Like
it's kind of
great night for feeding the duck.
right.
Hey, what's good, man? Y'all know what it is. It's your boy, Freddie Roy. Brisket, if you know me. Hanging with the homie, Lavish Blackman. And we are the main authority in here on this Gotham night. What's good, man? It's been a minute, hasn't it, though?
It has been a minute. It's been a minute since we at least been on YouTube.
Yeah,
But-
it has, man. It's like we've been out in these streets.
Facts. Out in these streets too. Out here in these streets. But this is bittersweet because
Little bit.
since we've not been on stream,
Oh,
we
that's
lost
right. That's right.
we lost the homie Kevin Conroy,
Yes.
original of all Batman voices that there could be. And yes,
He is.
very
He is
bittersweet.
Batman, the Batman.
Yeah, especially
We
with the
all
way that this
grew up
game
with
is,
him,
how
right.
Batman's dead in this universe, and that kind of makes me sad because it's like I wonder if they didn't want to continue doing any more Arkham games because maybe he was like, I'm done, I can't do it anymore,
Right.
if he knew. So that's why they went this route. I
Yeah.
mean, because I don't know how I would accept another Arkham series if it wasn't Kevin Conroy,
Yeah, it would be tough.
I think
It would be
we all.
tough. Somehow we would find a way.
Yeah, it just
Find
takes
a
some
way.
time.
But then you know what we would do. You know what we would complain about.
Right.
We would find something to bitch about because that's what we do in 2022. We take
Facts.
the good and we must find something. We must find something to poo-poo up.
The balance. Sometimes it gets overbalanced.
A little bit. But yeah, man, you know, it's funny because I think of something very, very, very recent that we still found ways to poop on a couple of things, as a matter of fact. And we haven't even actually got a chance to talk about with the peoples officially yet. That's that Black Adam
This is true.
and that Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yep. And the comparisons between the two. That Black Adam on Black Panther crime.
That.
Why is it a crime? It's a crime because we know we can't be comparing DC to Marvel movies. No, you can't do that. Not yet.
You can compare them, but you just got to know what you're comparing. You know, as long as you understand what you're dealing with, it's not a big deal, I don't think.
Black Panther is going to blow Black Adam out of the
Oh,
water.
of course, we knew this. But can we at least talk about the fact that, like, Black Adam was damn entertaining?
It was.
Like, that
Very
movie
much.
was, for somebody, like, and I have zero experience with the Black Adam character. I was not real high on The Rock in terms of, like, expecting him to give some kind of stellar performance, anything like that. I really didn't know anything about the character or the story or the setup. But by the time the movie was over, I was like, I could see more of this universe. Like, I could see more of these characters. I want to see a Justice Society Origins movie. Like, I want to see all of that because they actually were able to entertain me with that movie. And I'm not going to say I was shocked, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I didn't think it would be as good as it was. To be honest, I was thinking it'd be more like on a Shazam level.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have to totally agree. It was definitely entertaining. They didn't sit too long. Was giving you dialogue. They fed you what you needed to know.
Right.
And moved on. And they didn't go along with the normal superhero tropes. And he's not necessarily a superhero either.
Mm-hmm.
But even the other heroes that they had in there weren't the typical type of heroes. It was like, yeah, we're gonna uphold the law, but you know, we got our own little secrets in our closet too.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And the thing that really kind of like rung with me was the fact that they didn't waste time like setting up the movie to get you up to speed. Like people might be like, oh, it was exposition or whatever, but I was like, no, they basically set up the universe, they set up the world, they set up the story. That way, the rest of the movie they could focus on telling the story. They didn't have to fill you in with stuff as you went along. Like you already knew, you know, what was going on. So it was like the whole situation in Comdoc, right? It's like, well, what we realized that Comdoc ain't the United States. Like they doing some stuff different over here. So it's like, you have that understanding going into it. So even if somebody like me, that's like a straight up normie when it comes to these characters, I don't know anything about them, I was able to follow it and still and not feel lost.
Right.
Like I did watching The Eternals.
Yeah, Eternals had me lost.
Yes. I've seen
that
movie a couple times and I still don't get it. I'm like, what is the point? Like, are you gonna explain this later? Am I just banking this one for later on or what?
Right. Now I understand it a little bit better watching it the second time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just felt like it was supposed to be a superhero love story, basically.
Yeah.
And they just gave you some of that Marvel essence to move things along. There were some cool points, but Black Adam, it shined in gold.
Yes, it did. So basically what you're telling me about the Eternals is that it was the She-Hulk precursor.
She-Hulk precursor, yeah.
It was like,
it was a test.
It's gonna be Marvel, but it ain't gonna be Marvel.
She-Hulk / Thor.
Yes.
I would definitely say Thor was the She-Hulk precursor because you can't get no more comedic rom-com than Thor was.
True story. Like, although I'm not as down on Thor as everybody else was. Like I don't think it was a great.
I thought it was good, but
it definitely wasn't. Okay, so question. Let's do this really quick. Let's rank the Thor movies.
Okay.
What's your
Mm.
favorite?
I hate to be atypical, but Ragnarok was the best one they did, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yep, I agree.
Then you got I like the first Thor. I like the first Thor just because it was more true to the character.
Yes.
Even though it was nauseating to watch, it was definitely more true to the character. So yeah, I would go that one, and then Dark World's last. I like Thor: Love and Thunder. And I don't mean for me to come to that last as if it's last on my list, but it would probably have to go Ragnarok, Thor: Love and Thunder, Thor, and Thor 2. There we go. Oh shit.
Yeah. Say that again. You said where was Love and Thunder?
It was right after Ragnarok.
Okay, so I might say that's my third because I would say the first Thor movie is my second favorite. Ragnarok's
Yeah.
number one, then the first Thor movie, then Love and Thunder, and then Dark World. For me,
Okay. I can see that.
but yeah, I totally agree that like this was totally like more rom-com than anything else, which I wasn't mad at it. I felt like it was Ragnarok like dialed up again. But that's kind of what you expect with Taika. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't throw me very much. Like people felt like I heard a lot of people saying like, oh well, it took me out of the movie or it was just too goofy.
Right.
It's like a Waititi movie. Like what do you
Right. Yeah. What you expect?
what you gonna expect? Like that's now if you'd have told me that was that was Ryan Coogler's choice with Wakanda Forever, then okay.
Oh yeah. That just don't fit
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
at all. Totally ain't gonna fit. And good job, by the way, because I totally didn't think we was gonna free everybody before the time ran out.
I didn't either, but you know what? I was like, screw it, we're gonna do it.
I know. I didn't notice till like 50, like it was down to 50
He
seconds.
was like,
I was
oh,
like, oh shit,
we got hostages.
we in this. Okay.
That's funny.
Uh,
Oh man.
But yeah, I like Black Adam. Black Adam was entertaining. I like the casting choices fit. The twists. I figured by now we can talk about it freely.
Oh yeah.
You know, Dr. Fate dying at the end. I figured that was a good choice.
Yes.
Anyway, you know, you can either bring him back in other ways. I mean, it's Dr. Fate. Like you can twist that however you need it to. There were some cheesy moments in it. You know, the little kid kind of giving him pointers on how to be a superhero or Kandakian superhero, however you want to look at it. It was some cringe moments on that, but I felt like they were doing that because, you know, he was pretty much the reason for Black Adam to care. He was a reason for him to be reminded of his own son.
He
so
was
he
his
could
John Connor,
be a
bro.
little different.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
The whole dynamic was Terminator and John Connor in Terminator 2. I was here for it because it fit. Like it made sense in that dynamic. Like, yeah, it was a lot of it that was kind of cheesy, but it didn't like the movie in itself is kind of cheesy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that movie just has like a layer of cheese to it that you just can't avoid anyway. But despite that, it was entertaining. Like it wasn't like to a fault. Like, which is something that you can't really say or you haven't really been able to say about DC movies in particular recently. Wonder Woman. Like it takes you the campiness would take you out of it to a degree.
I don't even think about that movie. You keep bringing it up. I keep forgetting that movie
never
exists.
It torments me.
Oh goodness.
It torments me.
I just think Care Bears. I think because Care Bears existed first, I don't think about Wonder Woman 84.
That part.
I just don't. I've not even seen the Care Bears version. That's just enough.
Man. Oh, trust me.
Yes.
You watched Wonder Woman.
I actually didn't watch Care Bears growing up at all.
You saw Wonder. If you saw Wonder Woman 84, you saw it.
See, but no, just look at that though. The fact that I have not seen that movie just proves the point on why they could make that into a Wonder Woman movie and nobody know.
Nobody would know.
Nobody would know. I didn't even think about it.
I knew the moment I saw it. I was like, this rings of my childhood.
I think if we look it up by now, we could probably find a blog of it somewhere.
I'm sure.
People
I'm telling
telling
you, man.
people making the
If not,
connection.
I'm about to blow people's minds with it.
It'd be like Matrix all over again.
I'm gonna blow their minds.
That's fucking hilarious. Oh man.
But yeah, then you get the you got your Henry Cavill reveal at the end, which I think was dope.
Yes.
I mean, come on, man. Like who else is gonna be the Man of Steel? Like who else?
Right now, I have no idea. Like,
I wouldn't want to see anybody else.
no, not really.
I really would not, especially in because you have to have somebody that's going to, if he and Black Adam are gonna face off at some point, I gotta believe that fight. Plus,
Right.
you gotta have somebody that Rock can take to the WWE for his WrestleMania match with that mofo. 'Cause you know it's gonna happen.
Right.
So it's gotta be somebody that you can believe.
Facts.
I'm
No,
with it. I'm glad they figured out the Cavill thing. I'm curious to see how they play it with the whole, going forward and what that means and all that good stuff. But
Well, it goes to the next point. The fact that they got your boy James Gunn
yes,
over there with his dude. I don't remember his last name, but his friend Peter or whatever. And they're over there working on that 10-year plan. And I hear they're almost done with it, actually, which it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard. And I'll probably elaborate this more because I was gonna make a little video about it.
mm-hmm.
But I feel like everybody talking bad about Zaslav, but I think he's playing a smart game. I think he's playing definitely a smart game because if you look at it, he's in good with Feige. He ain't on bad terms. I don't know if they're the best of friends or not, but I don't see anything that says that they're not good friends. And he's got the whole idea of wanting to try to kind of mirror the idea of what Marvel's doing, which isn't a bad plan. I mean, why not? Why not?
Right.
And for the long run, like, could you imagine finally being able to have a company that owns DC that plays ball enough to where we can get a Marvel DC crossover?
Right.
Like stuff like that could be happening in the next few years, 5 to 10 years.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like once they actually like get a roster up, that's gonna be it. I say give them a couple years to actually get that going, because I'm tired of seeing Snyder cut pictures all over the place.
Yeah. I saw your tweet. I was like,
yes,
my man.
It's like, yes, like I'm done with the DCEU, Zack Snyder. Like let's move on and give somebody else a chance. Like they obviously sabotaged that man because they didn't want to give him a chance, and that's sad. We've already been over that. I'm ready to move on.
Hey, well, I'm looking at the chat, and I see my favorite. Felicity says, "I'm a Zaslav shield right now. Go ahead, hold it against me, but I'll be the first to call him out when he screws up. Consider that the mark of death. In a year, she gonna hate his ass, and everything that he does will be underachieving."
We shall see. We shall see.
Hey man, I seem to remember somebody being down with White Suge like that too, and then that flipped. It's just funny, man. It was all good a week ago.
I don't know. Things change.
That they do, man. That they do. Hey man, look, I'm pulling for Zaslav, man. Like I want to see him be successful. I want to see DC get to a point of respectability first. Like I don't even want to say like equal footing with MCU. Let's not even talk about that yet. Let's just get respectable first. And it looks like, they trying to make some plays to do some stuff the right way, which that's all you can ask for, man. That and just keep putting out solid movies. Just keep the focus on making movies as solid as you possibly can get them.
Oh, where we failed? Did I trigger something? Didn't notice I triggered something? Probably. Said something about some robbery.
Oh, well, damn. We ain't out here to save nobody right now. We telling
right. You trying to save nobody.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
But look, we got to get into it, man, because it's still fresh on the brain.
Of course.
Wakanda forever.
Yes.
Wow. That was my first thought after the post-credit scene. Wow. Not
Yeah.
just from the post-credit scene itself, but just that entire movie was like, wow. Because I had gotten to a point where I had become a little bit skeptical about the movie, right? I had let all of this hashtag recast T'Challa business, all of this other, quote unquote negativity surrounding the movie kind of like worried me a little bit. And I was like, what if the movie doesn't do it? What if they don't find the right way to make this work?
Right.
They did that, bro. They did that in some. The movie came out swinging, number one. Can we just talk about how they didn't even give you a chance to prepare yourself? Let's just that was crazy in itself. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen Wakanda Forever, we gonna be talking about that all kind of ways. So spoiler alert, just put that out there.
Right.
But man, like right at the beginning, like it's already like code 10, this is Joe Clark, get the chains off the doors. Like we gotta do this now. We trying to save him right now. And Shuri's trying to recreate the heart-shaped herb. And I don't know about you, man, but even knowing how that was gonna turn out, part of me was still like, come on, man, you can do it.
Right.
Like let's not this can't be real.
Yeah.
But you knew it was coming. And it was just, I'm glad that they went about it that way. I'm glad that was the way they chose to do it, as opposed to like some kind of a battle or some kind of a let's stretch out the death a little bit to try to get the dramatic effect. I like that they addressed it right away and went right into the crux of the movie, which I don't know if I was really ready to see the story of like Shuri's evolution into the Black Panther.
Right.
Like we speculated on this. We talked about it. We all had kind of theories on what we thought would happen, what we wanted to see happen, and everything else. And we, even with the trailer, it was pretty much, we knew at that point that she was gonna be the one donning the Black Panther outfit. Like she was gonna be the Black Panther, at least right now.
Right.
I was not expecting to go on that type of a journey with her to get there. Like this movie, in addition to telling all of the other stories that it was telling, was able to actually give you at least in my opinion, a satisfying journey to feel as by the time that she puts that outfit on, that she's earned it.
Right.
Like she has earned it. Like you've seen her process. It wasn't just, it was a little bit of plot armor, the way she they how quickly they were able to get to recreate the heart-shaped herb once they actually started working on it or whatever. But regardless, I wasn't even mad at that, because just the fact that you are rooting for her by the time she puts that outfit on.
Right.
Like that's the crazy thing about it, is it's like it's no longer about, oh well, it's just not the same without Chadwick. Like you don't even care. And I don't see, it's crazy that they were able to do that with that movie for me. That they actually, by the time I got to the end of that movie, it didn't matter to me that Chadwick Boseman was gone. Like the movie, that franchise can stand on its own without them making any additional changes or adjustments to who Black Panther is or anything like that going forward. The way that they set that up, the way that they were able to establish that in this movie, I have zero complaint.
I agree. Totally. Like there was so many different things that they did to make sure that Shuri was ready for that suit.
Mm-hmm.
That like, even for me, I was like, wow, It's like she's the last one in her family, basically now. She done lost her brother, her mother, father within the past few years. Like she's got to face somebody who's ruthless, pretty much, to protect his own,
Right.
which is like understandable, but to a point where it's like you taking it too far. You know what I'm saying? You being one of them gang leaders, you turning the family into a gang leader. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you need to slow down over there. But it was well done. I didn't expect some of the things that happened, and
Oh no, yeah. It threw some curveballs.
yeah, and it's colorful, it was heartfelt, and yeah, I agree. Like I didn't think about how they're gonna implant a Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? Like even if it was a new actor, actress, however it was gonna be, I didn't think about how they were gonna try to make this good enough to replace
Mhm.
somebody.
Right.
I was actually wondering if it wasn't gonna be Shuri, if they was gonna try to pull something like that. Of course it should have been. And of course, we all expected that if you actually read the comics.
Mhm.
But it was still down to the wire where it was questionable. Because
Yes.
even when she brought old girl over with her, I almost thought she was gonna ask her to do it, to be honest.
Mm.
But then she still went along with it. I loved the fact that they was able to bring back Killmonger in the way that they did.
Oh yes. Oh, that was perfect. Well,
Yes.
but that was exactly what we had talked about when we were talking about what we wanted to see and what we thought once we saw the trailer. And that
Right.
was one of the things that I said I wanted to see was I want to see him processing that whole, the idea of T'Challa being gone too. Because and it was perfect because I didn't mean, I want to see him grieving. No, I want to see what his 2 cents is about the situation. Like where especially with the fact that they were so, they had such different opinions on how to handle stuff. So it
Right.
was like I wanted to see how that was going because the whole thing was if this was in my mind, the way that I was thinking about this movie was if you're going to give the mantle of the Black Panther to Shuri, if she is going to take it, she has a very long way to go from where she was left at the end of the first movie to me accepting that in this movie.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not to say that she doesn't deserve it or that, you can't do that. It doesn't make sense. She's a woman. It has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about just character progression, period. Where she was at the end of the first Black Panther movie, she's not ready to take on the mantle of the Black Panther yet.
Right.
And this movie was basically her being forced to come to terms with the fact that this was now her responsibility.
Yeah.
Whether she wanted to believe in the tradition or not, it wasn't about that. Just like when she said she wasn't trying to save the Black Panther, she was trying to save her brother.
Right.
She's not trying to honor, in my opinion, I don't think she's trying to honor the mantle of the Black Panther by taking on that suit. She's trying to honor her brother.
Right.
And that's what it was about, was for her to find something that makes it real to her. And the whole thing with Killmonger that made that so dope was because Killmonger makes it real for her.
Right.
And that's perfect. It was so perfect because it's
Yeah.
like, yes, we have to acknowledge the fact that even though he's no longer there or whatnot, like what he did, that impact reverberates and is going to be a part of that nation's history forever.
Yeah.
He
Definitely.
was however you want to slice it. So you have to acknowledge that. And the way to do it in the way that they did it and to have it tied to Shuri in that way, I thought was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it was totally dope. It wasn't what I expected. I figured that they would probably have her show up at the tree like everybody else. But I did like the fact that they acknowledged the fact that she was doing it for vengeance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And her being able to come back from that is really where it's at. They ain't afraid to beat her up.
No.
I see that. I see Marvel
absolutely not.
finally had one of their first real male female fights. Like
Yeah.
they made this like it was for nations. Like I
Yes.
believe that. Like I totally believe that. I was like, if she don't win this fight, dude, like we all plot armor and all, but still, it's like if she don't win this, dude, they made it down to the wire. because it was a bunch of humans messing with some Atlanteans,
Yeah,
man. Like
basically, yes.
basically,
And props to Marvel and to Ryan Coogler and that design team for what they did with Namor, bro.
yes,
Like, can we appreciate how they've like say what you want to about the movie? I don't care whether you liked it, disliked it, or whatnot. If you cannot acknowledge the fact that Ryan Coogler has created two of the most charismatic anti-hero slash villain characters in the MCU, if not the the best two outside of Thanos, I don't know what you smoking, man.
yeah,
Because Killmonger, and then you get Namor behind that.
yeah,
Like there was so much
yeah,
to those two characters, bro, and like for them to damn near like both of them damn near stole the show in their own movie.
right. Facts. Like best villains. I can't like top tier.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Namor is up there, dude. Like
Yes,
I cannot wait to see what else he's a part of, especially if they're going to be doing the Illuminati and Secret Wars, and if they try to
Yes.
play out that narrative any kind of way
Yes.
close to how it goes in the comics.
Thing about it
Namor
is
is going to be a big character in that movie.
yes, and it's gonna be it's just again, it wasn't that I was, I didn't have any like I had negative expectations or anything like that. Just it's Namor, right? It's like
Right.
how dope do you think that's actually gonna be? Well, obviously, when you talk about Ryan Coogler, man,
Right.
that ish is dope as possible because when Namor first showed up, you like, oh, and this is like the thing that gets me about Ryan Coogler movies, right? Especially both Black Panther movies, is when his villains show up, they show up. You know what I mean? Like they make a mark. Like whether even when you're talking about Ulysses Claw, right? When he showed up in the little scene at the first Black Panther movie, dude made an entrance. Like you remembered that. When you first saw Killmonger, you remembered that. Like that was deep when he showed up at that art gallery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it hit you like you're like, oh, they going there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was the same thing. It was the same thing with Namor. When Namor showed, especially when he showed up to Shuri and Queen Ramonda, when they were having their moment, and he popped up, it was
Yeah.
like it was.
Yeah, he was full of confidence.
He almost stole the whole scene, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole scene was about him to me.
Mm-hmm.
That was that introduction right there. It was like
Dude.
it was what kind of Namor are we gonna get? Or is he hungry? Is he blood hungry?
Right.
Is he thirsty? Like what kind of Namor are we getting? And yeah, we totally got the Namor we needed. I don't know what kind of Namor people wanted.
He was a
We got the one
goddamn
we needed.
gangster. That's what Namor was.
Yeah.
We ain't even got to my favorite part with Namor, bro. But like, it was. I'm still stuck on the whole thing with Shuri because it was so just watching her and the thing about it was I'm watching her in the movie and I'm getting triggered, right? The character is like legit triggering me, and not in a negative way, but like just her rejection to tradition.
Yeah.
And the fact that like, me being an old head, it's like I'm listening to, this youngster, and she's like, oh, it was just a construct in your mind, mom. You didn't really see T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And it's just like, you know what? See, it's that type of stuff from you young little mother. And it's like you find yourself like really getting engrossed in the movie and like really like almost like in the first one, not wrestling with, but like really chewing on some of the thoughts and the concepts that they introduced. And then all of a sudden Namor shows up and you almost like temporarily forget about that. And the thing that I thought was so good that Ryan Coogler did in this movie was once Shuri was once she was introduced to Namor, right? Like once she demanded that they take her to see him and he was taking her to like the city, the way that he was able to depict that city and to like really put you in that that vibe where you're experiencing that like almost as if you Shuri going down there with it. Like
Right.
I'm seeing with Ryan Coogler, man, he has like a specific way of doing that in movies where he's really good at setting up and introducing you to these like new and exotic worlds that are so different and like just have their own little unique flavor compared to anything. It's you know what it's like? It's like black cooking.
It's like soul food.
You're like, oh, paprika.
It's very flavorful.
It is the Popeyes chicken sandwich versus the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Chick-fil-A be on point. Like I watch Iron Man all day. I will watch Captain America all day. But if Wakanda Forever come on, I'm like, hold on, bro. I gotta clear my schedule.
Love that chicken from Coogler.
Yeah, boy. Oh man.
Oh jeez. No, that whole movie to me was very well put together.
But yeah, I
And
see, Daniel Fisher. We're gonna go on and talk about it, man.
oh yeah.
Can we talk about Mrs. Angela Bassett, please? Can we talk about the fact that
course.
she we already knew from an acting standpoint that she was gonna bring it. You know, we kind of figured, and I had even said I think that every character in this movie is gonna really like bring it in terms of their performance just because of the gravity of the situation surrounding the movie. So I already kind of expected that. And when you talk about somebody of the caliber and the status and ability and accomplishments of, as Angela Bassett, you know that she's gonna own it in every sense of the word.
Right.
So that wasn't the shock. They ain't had to let Namor just wash her out like that, though, dog.
Yeah.
Like I was, boy, you want to talk about a curve?
Yeah. She said she objected to it at first.
Yes, I
Could've
saw
get talked into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would too, though, because I mean, when you think about it, it's like, but you know, the thing, I don't think I don't think the movie would have been as good if you hadn't, because I don't think Shuri's evolution would have been complete without that loss.
Right.
I think she had to experience that. She had to be like Namor said, only the most broken people make great leaders.
Right.
He had to be like, she had to be stripped down of all of her arrogance, all of her security, like all of her like self-assurance had to be taken. She had to question everything. She had to go through the same thing that T'Challa went through.
Right. Yep.
We had to see that in her own way. She had to go through that.
Yeah.
And they found a way to do it. And you know, again, as devastating as it was watching Angela Bassett and the whole revive when they revived Riri, and it was like, oh, so they pulling a psych. All right. And then it's like, nah, she ain't breathing though.
Right.
You like, no, you can't be serious. Like, but again, I said that I felt like the movie wouldn't have been as good. And it's not just for Shuri's point. I think it was a necessary and it was a clever thing to do to, again, take even more focus off of Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, everything changes after Ramonda passes. When she died, it's still we still know that T'Challa's, but it's like now the queen is gone though.
Yeah, that was her world right there.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, and it was at that point where M'Baku tells her, and that's where you realize, like, to me, that's where you get the meat and potatoes of the movie. He said, the world has taken too much from you for you to be still considered a child.
Right.
It's like shit done just got real for you, girl. Like nobody's looking at you now the same. Like you are, whether you accept it or not, you in that role now. Like this is, I'm coming to you because this is like what we got to do. And so like to me, it was powerful to me, man. Like maybe I just got too, I like allowed myself to get wrapped up into it. Call me a shield. Hey, I wish that check was in the mail. But Like,
Right.
I just enjoyed it, man. Like I really enjoyed that ride. I enjoyed letting that movie take me on that journey. And there was some things in it that, yeah, I mean, like the Everett Ross stuff, did it feel like it was kind of tacked on at some point? Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like, what were you just not going to acknowledge that character?
Right.
Like, we were just going to forget that he was a part of that universe? I mean, the stuff with Val, yeah, that all seemed like it was like maybe tacked on as like Kevin Feige or whoever at Marvel saying that we got to make sure we check these boxes to keep our movies moving or our main story moving. But
I
there's
didn't
going to
mind
be
it though. To be
yeah,
honest,
I
like it
never
was a good
minded
wrap up to that.
in those movies because
Yeah.
it's a part of it. It's we
Right.
know what when you're talking about the MCU, we know what these movies are now. We know what they're trying to do. So there's going to be a healthy part of that no matter what. It's just like back in the day when you used to watch like something like wrestling, right? Every
Right.
week there was a storyline that they were telling in wrestling. You knew that like at least at some point in that show, the two people whose fight they was trying to promote for WrestleMania was gonna come out and talk shit about each other.
Right.
Or either go interfere in somebody's match or something. It was a part of the buildups, and you knew it was coming, even if it was predictable. But like you understood that was a necessary part of building that anticipation
Right.
and setting up that universe so that you could for that payoff. And I mean that's a bigger question. Maybe that's a question to be had or debate to be had is are we as fans now over the buildup with MCU? Are we past that now? Like, do we want them to do something different? But I don't think that's the case. I think there's a very small minority of people who feel like that.
I think
But
it's growing though. I will say it is a
I would say-
question.
Well, I would say when you begin to saturate your content the way that the MCU has over the last, let's say, 24 months, and you start and your content goes from so think about it like this, right? Like how long are we from Black Panther, the first one? That was 2018, right?
Yeah.
So that was 4 years. So let's look at the content, the Marvel content that we've gotten post Black Panther. I mean pre-Black Panther, right? Now think of and the variety of that content. In the 4 years since, look how diverse that content has gotten.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
Like it is. I'm not just talking about the movies. I'm talking about even with the streaming stuff. You got Miss Marvel, you got
Right.
She-Hulk, you got WandaVision, you got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki. You have now they're doing like random stuff. Like what was that? The werewolf joint that they did. That was like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like there's all kinds of stuff. So when you start branching out like that, it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant, right? Or fast food joint. If I go to Chick-fil-A, I know what I'm getting. They sell chicken. And it's always gonna be consistent and it's always gonna taste the same because that's all they selling. But if I go somewhere that sell chicken and burgers and tacos, then on any given day, some of that ish might be off. Because there's too many different things you're trying to cook. Like you're not gonna be able to pay that much attention to make sure that everything is top tier. Yes, that might be the expectation. Like you might say, well, that's your job. I, as the consumer, should demand that. Well, yeah, you should, but realistically, what are you going to get? That's
Right.
not to say it's going to be subpar or that you should accept subpar. But if I've got like to worry about all of these other different things going on at once, that's going to dilute or that's going to take away some of the attention to detail that I'm able to put towards some of my projects. And so I think that's what we're seeing with the MCU is that because they, and then you throw into that, that 1 or 2 year period of the pandemic where we know production kind of took a hit. So
True.
again, that's not making excuses for Marvel because I mean, hell, you work for the mouse, you print money.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Apparently they
excuses, but what I'm saying is, it's like there's a certain level of expectation of stagnation when it comes to the content because we have to wait until like we still don't know how you top in game.
right.
Like we still can't. We want to see in game. We want to see them top in game. We want to see them do something different. We want to see them blow us away. But we want to get there already. We want the result without going through the process.
Right.
And I think just bringing that back to Wakanda Forever, I think that was the whole, one of the elements and one of the things that made the whole arc with Shuri so dope. It was like, no, you don't get to like at the beginning of the movie, we see her trying to fast forward her way to the heart-shaped herb. Like she's trying to recreate it, and she's like, I'm gonna save my brother, my science and my technology. Why can't these things, because it's not like that. You can't, sometimes you can't just snap a finger and make it work. You got to
Right.
go through that. Like life has a way of slowing you down even when you don't want to be slowed down. And I think that's one of the things that made, like I said, her story so dope. And I think that's what makes the MCU so dope, is that it's a slow burn now, because we know the formula. We saw the Infinity Saga, so we know how they set that up.
Right.
But what do you think, man? Do you think it's getting stale, or do you think like we're kind of like, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel like they're not trying to progress, but they're not trying to fall backwards either. I think that the way that they tell stories is fine. They just need to kind of, I guess, hurry and introduce these new characters. People want new stuff.
Yeah.
Is really what it's coming down to. It's like, yeah, Thor, nice, okay, he's still around, it's awesome. Spider-Man and wrapped up, so people don't know what to look forward to yet, because we don't know if they're still gonna have a Sony Disney deal or whatever the case. People are still skeptical about that.
Mhm.
And then people, yes, we've gotten all the Disney Plus shows, but they've been ups and downs on there. I think mostly successful. I think
Mhm.
She-Hulk is kind of a bad note to end on, in my
Facts.
opinion. But
Facts.
we got more stuff coming, and I think that the new stories that they're going to be telling, especially with Ant-Man, I think Ant-Man's not a bad property. I think the
No.
first one
No.
was told well, the second one followed up really good. But the villains are kind of lackluster on both of those, you know what I'm saying? And they're Ant-Man villains. But
Mhm.
I think that they're aiming to change that's why they're introducing, Kang in his movie. So Ant-Man's probably about to have one of their first really, really good movies,
Mhm.
and probably really good turnouts for a movie. Um, and it's just they're trying things out. I see that they're doing some cuts, they're doing some cutbacks, and it depends
Mhm.
on where they're doing those cutbacks at. That depends on the quality that we're still going to get from their movies.
Yeah.
So there might be some friction when they do that. It might not be. They might find a smooth way to do it, and a smooth way to keep the budget where it's at. Who knows? But yeah, I just think they need to kind of get in these new characters that they're talking about. And I saw that they actually have, I think it's Amazon Prime is ordering for the new series of Silk, the
Okay.
Spider-Man, female Spider-Man version. I think it's the Hispanic version of
Yeah.
Spider-Woman or whatever. But yeah, so I mean they're starting to roll that stuff out, but they need to kind of hurry up and press the pedal on that, because one, they don't right now, we kind of all feel like we don't have a Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? And you got to take it back to what made Marvel Marvel. They hit it on the head when they came out with Avengers. That's one of the aspects. And then they started branching off of that and giving you a whole world, and that's one of the aspects. Well, now we got this whole world that's finished populating it, because there's so many stories that's in this world that people are asking for. And to my point earlier, this is kind of a good move with DC right now, because yeah, they're in the beginning where they have to create a world, but they can be in a good spot to where they finally get their act going, that
Mhm.
they can actually be competition, because Marvel, I'm not saying it's out the door, but I think that's why people are kind of in this spot with Marvel. It's like there's no competition. What else are we really honestly comparing this to? Dune? Are we comparing this to
Part.
The
Okay.
Witcher? Like,
So
what are we? What is the level of things that we are comparing this to? Now,
so
when we get the Disney Plus stuff, we can
Mhm.
do that with Netflix.
Yes.
But when it comes to movies, yes, there's still a whole plethora of other movies being made, but they're in their own genre in ways. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. No,
So,
you're
like,
absolutely right.
with him playing, like I said, if he's able to play ball, it could open up doors for both branches and get people out of this rut where they
Yeah.
ain't got nothing else to watch.
Yeah. And but that point you just made is exactly why I laugh when people talk about like the MCU falling off. How are we measuring that? We measuring the MCU against itself.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you were saying they falling off, but like when I
No.
hear that, or when I hear people saying like, oh well, the phase 4 was a failure and MCU is it's like we just finished Endgame. Like I get that it seems like it was like 5 years ago because of everything that happened, like even in the real world. But we are not that far away from the biggest motion picture movie of all time being a comic book movie.
Right.
Like we are not even 5 years removed from that yet. And people are acting like certain people or some people are acting like we ready to put like close the coffin on White Suge. And I'm like, how? Like I get that, you know, we want results and we want to see the next thing. And I get that we live in a world where television shows can have 3 seasons in a 12-month span. Like I get all that. But what I'm like, we have to really realize that like these movies and these stories and these worlds that we talking about them setting up is going to take a minute, because I would much rather the MCU work at this pace than for them to just drop Fantastic Four and X-Men and everything right in our lap and then they don't know what to do with it. Or
Right.
they don't take enough time to let that marinate and the characters don't come across or don't hit the way that we want them to. Like that's what I worry about more than anything else, is like, because that, could you imagine if like the X-Men under Marvel flops?
Oh my God. You know what?
Can you imagine that?
I do imagine that. I totally do imagine that. Like not on purpose, not like I wanted to.
No, yeah, not.
But it's
totally
like I don't have too many things to go back on that's successful to be like they're gonna nail this, you know? And I don't mean that like against Marvel, like the MCU and what they've been doing. I mean like just X-Men, the property itself. And then some of the stuff that I keep hearing and circulating around them trying to change the name and all that types of stuff, is like it worries me. It's like, are we actually gonna get X-Men, or are we gonna get the mutants? I can see the first round placating and being the mutants, just because you have to introduce them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's the mutant saga. It's not the X-Men saga. Okay. So, okay, I get that. But it's like, are we going to actually get the X-Men? It's like, I don't think anybody really cares about them being called the X-Men.
No, I don't give a shit what you call them.
Like,
what
honestly,
I care about is Magneto better be Magneto, Professor X better be Professor X, Wolverine better be Wolverine. That's
right.
Gambit better be Gambit, damn it.
Right.
Like that's what I care about. I want to see stories that are as good, if not better, than what I saw from the X-Men at its pinnacle, which in my opinion is X-Men the animated series.
Yes.
That was some of the best X-Men storytelling I have seen. I want that level or better for the MCU. So if that's what we talking about, I don't give a damn if you call them X people. I don't care. You call them whatever you want to. Just like X individuals. I don't care. Just make the stories dope and make it all and give me adaptations of some of our favorite arcs from the comics. I'm good with that. Like it doesn't have to, you don't have, but the thing that worries me is not that I don't think that, you know, White Suge and Marvel know what they're doing. Clearly they do. But could you imagine if like we get the X-Men in the Fantastic Four and the fans ain't down with it? Do you know what people will be saying? They will be talking about Disney need to sell Marvel.
Right, they would.
I
don't see why they wouldn't.
Exactly. And but my thing is like this is still coming from the same studio and the same corporation that was responsible for the success that makes it possible for us to even have those kind of standards.
Right.
It's just, to me, I find it so funny how quick we flip, how quick we are so ready now to pull the trigger and like be done with something and on to the next.
It's the group mentality. It's been proven. But on the same point, it's like you got those of us who actually indulge and get into the meat and potatoes of it and enjoy it for more than what it is for those types of people.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, at the end of the day, it for me, like I don't let it get me too high. I don't let it get me too low. But I I take it for what it is. Like it's an escape for me. Yes, I have expectations. If I don't like something, I'm not gonna waste my money on it. I do expect if I'm paying money for something, I should have a certain level of quality should be expected from that because I am the consumer. I feel like my voice should be heard, but at the same time, if a company continues to make something a certain way and I'm not cool with that, I'm not going to continue to give that company my money, knowing that I'm not really enjoying what they provide. And
right.
and I see a lot of that. I think, or what seems to be a lot of that with some of these voices we see on social, and I just call bullshit. I call bullshit on the whole recast T'Challa movement and a lot of the people that were, like spearheading that shit because I just feel I find it to be fake as hell because I'm like, you didn't have that energy before that man passed away. You didn't have that energy with any other character, comic book character. I ain't never heard you coming from this place. But now all of a sudden, because you can get you a few clicks and a few subs, that's where you going. And it's like really, and the funny thing about it for me, the irony about it is when you look at some of these people and you start like putting two and two together, it's like, well, wait a minute. You knee deep in this comic book thing, or you want people to think you knee deep in this comic book thing and that like you have all this experience. But when we look at your name, that name didn't exist before that movie first came out.
Right.
So you already coming in correct. Like we know you posed. And now you're trying to appropriate for my culture. And I don't need you to do that. We don't need you to do that. I don't need you to gatekeep for me. I don't need you to tell people like what I think or what my people think. And now if you are speaking because you are a part of my people, that's cool. Have your opinion. I'm not telling you shouldn't. But what kills me is when I saw like this, all this old recast T'Challa stuff, it's like, where is this energy coming from though?
Right.
Like, why are we so like, where's the racial implication in this exactly?
Yeah, I don't know. Like they just came out of the woodworks, dude. Like you couldn't post nothing about nothing when it came to Black Panther without somebody coming on there and recast. And it's like, geez, but then when I say that the fandom's divided on it, no, it's not. It's united. No, like, what do you mean? Because there's people who don't care about recasting T'Challa. They don't want T'Challa recasted yet because they're grieving. Like, no, he should have been back in this next movie. It's like, I don't see how they could have done that,
bruh.
Like seeing it now, especially, I don't see how they could have done that. If they didn't get that out, if they weren't able to express themselves, I look at it on that level. Forget just looking at it plainly as, oh, he was a character. That sounds so heartless to me. When you think, like I said last time,
let me tell you how stupid the recast T'Challa movement is. Let me tell you how dumb these people sound. You are trying to make it racial. One of the arguments that I heard was that, oh, if this was a white actor, they don't do this. They would have just recast and it wouldn't have even. Number one, bullshit. Because if Robert Downey Jr. had mysteriously died of some illness, they would have stopped the world to honor Iron Man. Let's be clear about that. Number one.
Dude, he didn't even really die, and they still stopped the world.
Number one. Number two.
What did I just start?
How do you consider yourself pro-black when you are arguing the idea of a movie honoring the actor who is responsible for giving relevance and hope to a whole generation of black comic book fans that wouldn't have existed without that movie?
Right.
And you take issue with the studio because you think the studio is trying to make $1 off of that man dying. Even if they are. And newsflash, They were, and they did. They ain't the first, they ain't the last, and that doesn't make them the devil. Because it is possible to be business minded and still have the wherewithal to acknowledge the fact that this person had such an indelible impact on your success.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's one dude who essentially who caused a division in a company, at least in the fandom. I don't know how it was actually at Disney, but I'm pretty sure on a personal level, some of them probably felt the same way.
But that's what it was. But that's how stupid it is to me, because it's like, wait a minute. So you're trying to tell me now that now you have a problem with the fact that the quote unquote white man is actually trying to give you some level of acknowledgement?
Right.
Now that's not enough. Like, oh, I can't have you doing that. Not with my T'Challa. No, if you really want to honor him, recast it. You know how stupid you sound?
It sounds so heartless.
Dude. You look like a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. Like, you look like you sound stupid. And I hope that you cried through all 2 hours and 40 minutes of that movie, realizing that they didn't listen to your dumb ass. Because, like, really, I mean, like, it just blew my mind, man, because I couldn't believe that people were that bent out of shape about it to that degree. And then we're trying to convince people that the reason that they were so bent was because they were legitimately that bothered by it. You were legitimately that bothered. So Black Panther has made that big of an impact for you in the last 4 years that the moment that man died, the first thing you thought about was, well, they better recast him. Better chill with all that mongering.
Yeah, man. I mean, the people out there, it's just they have their own dissonance that they want to live in. That's what they got. That's what they do.
I look, man, at the end of the day, the way I feel about it, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You can feel how you want to feel, but the moment you start trying to create a negative environment around something, and you trying to do it from the guise of you actually giving a shit, when we all know that it's only about your numbers and the fact that you're trying to get clout because you think that, like, the few people that follow you on social makes you some kind of person of importance. Like, have a seat with that. Right. You are counterproductive to the movement. If there even is such a thing, you counterproductive to it. You are a part of the problem.
Right.
Because you are appropriating a real struggle and turning it into something as trivial as a comic book movie. When we got people out here that are really struggling for their human right on some real ish, and you out here trying to make people think that they need to be out here championing for a movie.
Right. Facts.
Bruh, miss me with all that, man. Like, maybe in my old age, I'm getting cranky, bruh, but I was seeing this when this movie was leading up, and I'm like, nah, man, like, if somebody better get these people. But thank the maker for Ryan Coogler, because the movie dropped and he shut all that shit up.
Right. And just on all those points is why I'm not surprised that already Black Panther has passed Black Adam.
Yes.
Like, I see Black Adam probably capping somewhere around, if they're lucky, 100 million or more, somewhere in that bracket. That's good for that movie. That's good for DC. But I don't know if Black Panther 2 will make $1 billion. I don't know if it'll make that much, especially coming off the Pandy. Still, I don't know. I consider that a little bit. Some people still are a little skittish. Not much.
I mean, the fact that the movie came out and made the records that it made tells you that people responded to it. And I don't think that's like just a hype train kind of thing. I think that, you know, when you look at the actual response to it and the fact, I think this weekend is going to be very telling to see just how much it drops off at the box office.
Right.
Because I think, you know, there will be a drop off, but I think it's going to pick back up again next weekend for the holiday. So this movie might have a little bit of leg room and it might do some numbers. Like, it may shock some people, but at the end of the day, I think that unless we work or unless we're in the Mouse's accounting department, I think the thing that we need to be as fans more concerned with is, was it good though?
Yeah.
Because the money part is gonna speak for itself. Like, we'll know the money regardless. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it's cool to, some people get into, like the homie Adam, I know he really gets into that box office performance stuff, and that's cool. Like, but I think for us as comic book fans, it's really a question of, okay, but was the movie good? Because like Black Adam, like you said, it's not gonna do those kind of numbers, but does that mean they shouldn't make another Black Adam movie?
Right.
You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need, I don't want the move to be solely. Of course, I get it. We're in a capitalist society. They are in this business to make money. So if it ain't making dollars, it ain't making sense. I get that. But I don't want that to be the sole judging factor, because I think a movie like, Black Adam is not going to get the level of or the level of turnout as a Black Panther, because it doesn't have that same established backing. Like,
Right.
we talking about the MCU.
Right. Already been established.
Been there, done that.
Right.
Like, people that didn't even know that a Black Panther existed is going to go see that movie now.
Right. Exactly.
Like, that's the thing that we were somebody was talking about this, I think, in the Discord the other night with Star Wars, was that like we got to realize now some people's entry point for Star Wars now is the Mandalorian. They may not know anything about the 9 Skywalker saga films. In 20, 30 years, they'd be like, yep, I remember the first time I saw Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some people's entry point, and that's cool. Like, that doesn't invalidate that person fan or anything like that.
The hell?
What are you over here doing?
Falling through the sky. Somehow. Hey. We ran into one of our first glitches.
Man, they said they didn't recast Paul Walker. Y'all foolish. Y'all foolish, man.
Oh, but speaking of something along that line, they did totally recast, and it looks shady. It looks shady. But they did recast Ross.
He looks shady, or
no? Talking about how they did it, how they recast General Ross.
Oh, okay.
So they totally recasted General Ross, and they went with Harrison Ford.
Yes, I saw that.
But apparently, because of the Indiana Jones movie being released, I'm not sure if it was. I don't want to say any names, because I'm not sure who it was. But somebody wanted them to not announce that so publicly because of the Indiana Jones movie. They figured it might take away from it, whatever case.
Okay.
So they said no. But so now, like, it came out later that they actually casted and blah 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 blah. But it was on such a low level scale that it like just looks like they kind of slid that under the table. Like, hey, by the way, we got Harrison Ford.
I thought it was like a fan fiction thing, so that's legit.
Yeah, no, they were talking about that since D20.
Okay.
22, whichever. Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah,
yeah. I saw the poster and I was like, is that real? Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, but okay. So let's stay on the recast topic for a minute then, and let's talk about that, right? So we talking about like the character or Thunderbolt Ross. That man died of old age, right? Like it wasn't like it was abrupt, and it wasn't. Thunderbolt Ross wasn't like a cultural transcending character. Like, it's not the same. Like, yes, people get recast all the time, but when that's just like players retire in sports every freaking day. They don't honor every single one of them. Not everyone gets a statue in the front of the stadium. You got to have actually accomplished some ish in order for that to happen. And clearly, Chadwick Boseman, at least in the eyes of some folk, accomplished some things with Black Panther. Or at least some people felt so, or felt enough so that they felt it was necessary to at least pay respect to him in that way for this movie.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, shoot, it took him what, 15, 20 years to find Superman? Like,
I'm saying,
it's just some people you just can't replace like that.
No, you can't. And
like that.
And we're in it right now, right? We are in it. We are experiencing it. We are seeing it. We got to understand what this is going to be like, or what this will look like for comic book fans 20, 30 years from now that come back and think about this. when Riri Williams is a household name, when Ironheart is not, an obscure character, when Miss Marvel is not an obscure character, when She-Hulk is like shows like She-Hulk are the norm and not the exception. Like when that happens, like you will go back and look at these decisions and these movies and these shows as having paved the way for that. We're living it right now, so for us, it doesn't seem as significant to some, but it definitely has significance. You have to acknowledge, and there are points where you stop and you realize, okay, this is a moment. Like you don't just this is not just something to ignore or disrespect. And like I said, like that to me was one of the things that made Wakanda Forever such a dope movie, was because that was one of the lessons that Shuri had to learn.
Right.
Was like, no, yeah, we get like, fine, this might not be as important to you, but you need to understand the significance of the moment.
Facts.
And what it means to live in that. Because that takes a level of humility that a lot of us don't have if we talking real.
Yeah.
Because you gotta make it about something bigger than just you.
You gotta grow up, man.
The recast T'Challas of the world don't want to make it about anything but themselves.
Right.
So hey, more power to them, man.
It is what it is, as they say.
Yes, indeed, man.
It is what it is. But man, I just know a lot of stuff that's been going on, and not thanks to the world that we got some kind of bug going around.
Oh man, don't even tell me about it.
Ever since I moved, man, I got sick. Number one got sick. You got sick.
Man, I'm talking like full-fledged flu over here, man. My whole household had it. Your boy was down. I'm still a little bit congested and still a little wheezy, but like, man, about a week ago, you want to talk about bringing in your birthday, like,
right,
gangster at all.
I think it was just our time.
Yeah, man.
This is what it is.
But you know, we still standing. We still strong.
Right, we still strong.
We still in here with
Most
you.
definitely. Right. So we got a couple super chats, whichever you like to call them. Did I Jen? Thank you for the $10.
Thank you.
She says, have either of you been playing God of War Ragnarok? I can't stop playing. It's an S tier game. Now, you already know. If you've been watching me play this whole night, you've been like, damn, Lapis is fucking up. Like, hell, hit circle, hit block. Because I've been playing God of War Ragnarok. I ain't been playing this game at all. And the controls obviously are different. I'm over here hitting R1 trying to strike people in the square. It's like I'm over here reacclimating. But yeah, I've been playing Ragnarok nonstop. I just finished completing Muspelheim all the way. I'm about to go meet up with what's his name? Freya. I'm gonna go meet up with Freya and Vanaheim. That's where I'm at. Playing the hell out of that game, which is fun.
Yeah, man. I admittedly haven't finished the PS4 God of War.
Man,
I haven't gotten Ragnarok yet, but I'm about at the point where I'm about to just get Ragnarok and just do the little recap at the beginning of the game, because I'm seeing all of this gameplay footage and I'm wanting to get in on that. But
it's so fun, man. Like even the first one is when you get used to it. And I like it for the fights. Like the story's great, figure out puzzles, yeah. But I like fighting people. And that's where it's at for me. And that's why I like Muspelheim, dude. As soon as you can get there, just go chill.
Yeah, because that was my whole thing with the first one. Like I love the combat too, but I felt like I was in that boat so damn much, I ain't get to do no combat.
Well, now you get a boat and you get a sled.
I just got tired of it, man.
They kind of mix it up. You get a couple places here in the boat, a couple places here in the sled.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to get into it, man. You know that 2K been all.
And besides that, the story is just great. So far, this story tied in with the game, like
that's what's up.
However they do it, they need to keep. I mean,
God of War has never like slacked when it comes to the storytelling.
Right.
That's what made those games dope in the first place, was the fact that they actually made like mythology interesting and fun. Like it's their own little personalized take on it, but it was like you actually get into those stories. So like that doesn't shock me at all.
Right. Yeah, they totally do have a God of War Ragnarok controller.
Yeah.
I seen that. I want to get it, but I was like, no. We'll hold off on that. Christmas riding around the corner.
Yes, it is. And me.
Put that on my wish list. There you go. Want to know what to get me? Give me that. It's gonna be nice.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we had a lot of stuff going on, and then Vito also tipped us $8.
Hey, appreciate that, V.
Thank you for the $8. Said DJ tonight. We gonna turn up or anything tonight, man?
We'll see. You know, the night is still young. Who knows?
Still young.
No, actually, no. We cannot. We will not be turning up tonight. This might as well be the best time as ever to say we will be turning up again real soon. I'm thinking, let's see. Matter of fact, sometime next weekend. We'll have to play it by ear, figure out schedules. But our next turn up is gonna be for the homie T-Rev.
Facts.
Just because T-Rev is that guy. We turning up for T-Rev, man.
Hell yeah. Totally down with that. Lonely banter. Eat a stream and pour milk all over myself so I get super
Hey, do it.
I tell you, on that 5, man. On that 5.
It's definitely worth it. I will say I didn't expect that I would be gaming as much as I have been since I got this thing. And I game a lot. Like I'm a gamer, but I didn't think I would be playing. I have played probably daily since having this, outside of if I was like sick.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. Lucky bastard.
Man, I have to give him this is my therapy. If I don't have this, man,
I feel you.
This is a bad situation. Even my wife knows. She's like, you need to play the game. Yeah, maybe I know.
That's why I'm appreciating God of War, because now I at least have when I'm ready to wind down, I got that.
Yeah,
my therapy too. It's like I got a game I can play. Outside of that, I've been thinking about starting Mafia 2.
Ooh,
I haven't played it yet.
Mafia 2 is incredible.
That's what I keep hearing.
Incredible game.
Yeah, so I thought about playing that. And besides that, you already know. Let people know. Talking about doing a little more videos, stuff like that too.
Yes, so, definitely that. We got a lot of we got a lot of different content coming, man. We finally finna start putting some stuff together, man. Like we're gonna have videos on the Patreon now direct that you can go check out. We're gonna actually start doing little segments and stuff like that, man. So we'll tell you more about that. We got that Fuck Around and Find Out coming. I can't wait. That's fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
But yeah, man, it's just gonna come in and we're gonna ride the rest of 2022 on out, man, and then hit them with the sauce.
All over. Not the milk.
Not the milk.
No, not the sauce.
No, just sauce. No milk. Just sauce.
Man. And I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna do it. But I can't wait to do that Allstate commercial.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna make that the main gang commercial. Man.
Yeah, we gotta definitely make that happen.
Oh yeah. No, Lucy. I'm not on camera right now. But Lucy has come to tell me that's enough.
She's like,
right. She's like, I'm about to fuck up your whole stream.
For real.
All up on the table and everything. Okay.
Oh man, that's what's up, man.
Okay. Right, Jedi Jen.
Because if you ain't got that sauce, then that's your loss,
son.
It's been too long.
Been too long. Yeah. We gotta get back into it, man. Can't hold us down.
Oh man.
Hit them with the sickness. All right, y'all. We will catch y'all in the next episode.
Hey.
Hey.
Later, man.
Deuces.
The Force will be with you, always.
Hey man, y'all sure y'all don't want to like burn one first, man?
Why did you say that name?
You hear about
The champion!
What is thy bidding, my master?
Let's go.
Forever, forever, ever. Forever.